Are we live? Are we live? We're live. Listen, y'all, I'm upset. All right? I'm upset. I'm not happy. Not happy one bit. With the season finale, all right? The season 10 finale of The Walking Dead, all right? It was okay, but overall these 6 episodes, these 6 standalone episodes are probably the worst Walking Dead episodes that I have seen. I've watched every single season. I watched the World Beyond spinoff. Okay, so I'm not just saying this, knowing that they were standalone episodes. I have never seen more disjointed, bland nothings, okay, than these 6 episodes of The Walking Dead season 10. I am so ready for season 11, and honestly, I'm so tired at this point. I just want to see season 11 be amazing, get Rick and Michonne at least some closure on their characters, and just be done with it. After 10 years of this amazing show, it really is, it's coming to an end. So this episode in particular, The Walking Dead finale, okay, of season 10. This episode comes in as an origin story for Negan. Now, Negan is one of the best characters on The Walking Dead and one of the only reasons that a lot of people keep watching. I watch because I'm a diehard fan. I'm going to watch until the very last second of the very last episode of the very last season. But he's a bright spot overall in the show. Not to be confused with me thinking he should still be alive. I think there's no reason that Negan should actually still be alive at this point based on what he did. And some of that stuff was brought back up in this episode. And I'm like, man, how could they even stand to let him live, let alone be out and about? I mean, they have straight up killed lesser people, like lesser enemies, people who did less than Negan did. So, you spare the life of arguably probably the worst villain in The Walking Dead, and but you have no mercy for other people. So, this episode picks up with Negan being walked out to a cabin by Carol. Okay, and Carol's like, oh, the board has decided and you've been banished. Now, Negan already smells a rat because he's like, okay, is this Carol taking the reins, or did the board really decide? So they kind of hinted at that, before the episode even really got going and picked up, that this could possibly not even be something that Carol did. I mean, that the board did, but rather it was Carol doing this on her own to either keep the peace, and we find out later that it was so she wouldn't feel guilty if Maggie killed him. Now, here's my problem. Why on earth would you feel guilty that the woman whose husband was killed brutally by this guy got like this type of righteous vengeance on this guy? And I don't know, like they try to humanize him in this episode because they go back to his story with Lucille, the original Lucille before the bat became Lucille. And it's a sad story, okay? And I feel like their attempts to humanize his character kind of fall flat, because I guess the idea is, oh, well, he was a good guy and these circumstances happened to him, and that's why he became the Negan that we all know and love to hate. But that's not even true, because if you look back at the story, Negan was already a violent man. He beat a dude up for a jukebox song, and he was already a cheater. He cheated on his wife, okay, before any of this had gone down with, I forget her name. It was like Enid or not Enid. Enid's another character in the show, but it was something similar to that. She's irrelevant though for the rest of the episode. But yeah, it's like it fell flat. They were trying to humanize Negan in this episode, and really they just revealed that he's been a villain all along, between cheating on his wife and beating that guy to a pulp for a jukebox song. This was part of his character that he had hidden away, but he was always that guy. So I don't know why in this episode Carol took him to a cabin to spare his life from Maggie taking this kind of righteous vengeance and putting an end to what Negan had been doing for years and years and years. Just like his tyrannical rule, his brutal killings, his making an example of people. So I don't know what the point of the episode was. If it was to just confuse us even more about where they're going with the Negan character, then they absolutely did that. Because this episode does not end with us thinking that he's turning over a new leaf necessarily, or that he's a better man now. It actually shows and reinforces a pattern of Negan lashing out and being bad Negan, and then feeling remorseful and having a couple of years of good Negan, like he had with Lucille, and then the real Lucille, not the Bat Lucille, and then lashing out again when Lucille died and becoming, violent, crazy Negan again. And then it's just a cycle. And then once Rick got his, once Rick beat Negan and cut his throat, he could have died right there, honestly. But they saved him. They spared his life, put him in a jail cell. And I think Rick had even said something to the effect of, "You will never see the outside of this jail." That didn't last long because his daughter, you know what? As great as Rick was, his kids, his kids were not too great. I mean, I know a lot of people have a lot of love for Judith. But no, I think they both struggled to live up to Rick's, just his morality, his tone about the world, because Judith is the reason that Negan got back out. And the idea was that no matter what Negan did, no matter how Negan changed, he could not be trusted and he was too violent to ever be let out of prison again. But not too long after Rick was out of the picture, he was out and about again. And Maggie is pretty much, since the last time we saw her, she's coming straight out of that raw hatred emotion for Negan. So it's got to be impossible for her to even stand next to him. She's exercising such self-control. I mean, how many people would have that? And what makes it worse is that her son is there. Now, her son doesn't know who Negan is. I'm assuming he doesn't know the identity of Negan because the son asked Maggie, well, did he get what he deserved? When Maggie let her son know that, and I think his name is Herschel Glenn. Yeah, it's Herschel. She named him after her father. She tells Herschel that, oh, well, he was a bad man, and and Herschel asks, well, did he get what he deserved? And the answer is no, he didn't. I mean, some people, in this show, they've killed people for killing one person, right? How much more so if this person is a mass murderer and a psychopath, and not only kills people, but in the most brutal ways possible. And not only in the most brutal ways, but in front of their loved ones, scarring them and their friends, scarring them pretty much forever. So yeah, this episode was just didn't do it for me. I mean, it tried to have that kind of finale feel, but I think any episode of any show, for that matter, with that focuses primarily on one character and doesn't bring in a whole lot of other stuff and big stakes, is not a good season finale. And a lot of this show, and pretty much 90% of this entire episode, dealt with things that happened in the past. So there were no real stakes for the current cast in any way, shape, or form. And we went through and I say all this to say, we went through 6 episodes of this, of completely detached, non-consequential episodes. So honestly, I double down on that. This is one of the worst seasons that I've seen, period. So with that being said, looking forward to season 11, the final season of The Walking Dead. I'm actually very excited. I almost take those 6 episodes out of my mind because I know that the pandemic happened. I know that different things were going on, and they actually did a behind the scenes featurette on this episode and kind of the whole standalone 6 episodes. And they were saying, obviously it was a big deal because they had a lot of cast and crew and they had to deal with even shooting anything at all. And so am I glad that they got something shot? Is it a stretch to say no? I mean, it wasn't good. It wasn't Walking Dead. It wasn't the same tone feel. It didn't have stakes like a season finale should. It dealt with things that happened in the past, like I said before. So am I glad that it ultimately got shot and put out? Not necessarily. I could have waited a little longer for an amazing season 11 leading to the conclusions on these characters, and Rick and Michonne and Daryl, etc. Just giving them, closing the book on Maggie's character and Carol. Having real stakes like we haven't really had since several years ago, several seasons ago for sure. When any character could go at any time. That was when The Walking Dead had you on the edge of your seat every week. I haven't been on the edge of my seat. I'm not even going to say probably not all of season 10. It's been a couple seasons at least since it was adrenaline like that. So with that being said, I think that if they can knock this out of the park, okay, this season 11, now that we're done, I mean, the show's essentially done with season 10. If they can knock season 11 out of the park and just move on from what we just saw and what just happened, I will forgive the entire season 10 and the last 6 episodes especially. Now, with that being said, I do want to say that I do think that telling Negan's origin story was important. So I don't want to say that this was like a non-necessary episode, right? But this was not season finale material at all. Period. Point blank. This was like a filler episode. It would have been a good filler episode in any other season. I definitely think that. But to not only have it as one of the focal point episodes of this season, not to mention the finale, the season finale. What are you doing, AMC? What are you doing, Walking Dead? So with that being said, I'm excited for season 11. Keep it locked here as I did Beyond World Beyond, Walking Dead World Beyond. I covered that entire series. That was honestly, it's sad because I think I had ended that season saying that Walking Dead World Beyond was not that great of a show, but I would actually say that first season was better than these episodes. These 6 standalone episodes just did not do it. And they're really going to have to bring it for season 11 for people to just kind of put this out of their minds. So I'll close in saying this was a necessary episode. They had to tell Negan's origin story, but this was not a season finale. There were no real stakes because it was all in the past. And then at the end of the episode, you had Carol admitting to the fact that, yeah, basically she had just brought him to that cabin so that she wouldn't feel guilty about Maggie killing Negan, which again, it's like, where is your allegiance here? Have you ever loved and cared for Maggie, Glenn, and their kid? Because he not only slaughtered several different people, but one of your best friends and hurt one of your best friends. So the fact that she would feel guilty if this woman took revenge on this dude who killed her husband and for her son's sake, okay, the fact that you would feel guilty about that, Carol's just been a mess for a while. Carol's been a mess for a while as far as her character goes, and just the kind of stuff she's been up to and the reckless decisions she's making, just being reckless. I think it sums it up. I don't know what she's doing, but this just goes further in that direction of Carol losing her mind. Sorry for the motorcycle that's passing. I don't know. So with that being said, guys, keep it locked here as we cover your favorite movies and TV shows. Walking Dead season finale just ended. Sorry, by the way, that Sydney wasn't here. She flew out to LA on Sunday and she's still getting reacclimated there. She's got some friends who actually went with her, so she's getting all of them settled. That's also the reason that she didn't do Debris last night. But we will be on for Supergirl and The Flash tonight, so you want to keep it locked here. But yeah, that's all I really got to say. It fell flat to me. So be sure to hit the subscribe button, click the bell so that you don't miss as we cover more Walking Dead, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.